It is not the art, but the combat that you enjoy.
What's going on? I'm going to jump right into it. You know, there's been a lot of people that have been speaking up about the game not succeeding because of not having the license. But we don't know for sure yet. But I want to make a case as to why this game could really be a great title even without the license. Because, you know, sometimes the license can be more of a hindrance than it is an actual good thing. Let's think about this, for instance. We've got here this page. I'm going to leave a link in the description where it shows you the 8 things that the NFL restricts EA from putting in the game. I'm going to give you a list here. We're going to take a look at it and think about some of these elements that have been taken out. Of course, the ambulance, concussions, hard-hitting tackles with the hit stick, de-helmeting, free-willing owner mode. There's certain types of celebrations that have been taken out, leveling bystanders on the sidelines, and dynamic attendance. You know, a lot of those elements are what make football games realistic. So, you know, you think about what you could have in a realistic football game. You can have the cart come out on the field for injured players. You know, that's an realistic part of football. People get hurt. There are serious injuries that do occur in football. So, I mean, I don't know. It just seems kind of silly if you're going to try to dumb down a game to be, you want it to be realistic, but you really don't want it to be realistic. You know, even with the hard hits, you know, that's part of the game, man. You know, sometimes players, you know, with all that adrenaline, you know, you're going to get some hard hits and you're going to get some helmets flying off. But, you know, let's think about something like this. What about some other wardrobe malfunctions like shoes coming off? You know, that happens in football too. They could add something like that. I don't know if there's really any restriction to that, but I mean, you think about the technology that we're working with today, they could easily add an element like that where a player's running and he loses his shoe and he's running in the sock. You know, that'd be kind of cool, immersive element. Think about penalties like horse collar penalties. You don't really get to see that called because of some of the tackle animations in the current game. You know, well, we know what that is. But it'd be cool, you know, even during the penalties, you would have maybe the referees having a meeting. If it's a double penalty, one on one side and one on the other, you hardly see that ever called. You think about chop blocks. Those penalties do occur in the NFL and in football in general. But, you know, again, these are penalties that have been omitted in the current product. And even to the point where you never even see the referees actually throw the flags on the field. You know, whatever happened to that? That's in the old games. It's even in some of the older Madden titles. But there again, those are elements I'd like to see come back. You know, it just seems like everything's so streamlined now. I mean, even taking out the coin toss, the chain gang. The chain gang is a perfect illustration of how it's a game of inches. You know, when you're fighting for that one small yard to get a first down, that's a very intense moment. And then you have the crowd noise, man. That plays a big role in football. You know, they talk about the 12th man. That's your 12th man when you got to go to a silent snap count. Or if you got players jumping off sides, you know, a lot of that goes a long way with your crowd getting into the game. And then we come to the X's and O's, man. When it comes to football, you know, everybody has a job. Everybody has an assignment. We need to see better technique across the board. We need to see players actually doing their assignments and actually doing their jobs properly instead of running into each other like Keystone Cops. That's what you get a lot of times in the current product. That should be unacceptable. Then we have the techniques of the cornerbacks. You know, that's not being respected, man. And that's what we need in a football game. We need to see those cornerbacks actually fighting for the ball, actually using technique, proper footwork, proper handwork. You know, you hear people talk about the wide receiver and cornerback interactions. Well, there's a lot more to it than just slapping each other around. You know, there's a lot of work that goes into that, and it needs to be respected. You know, we need to see bad technique versus good technique, where, you know, some players make bad decisions, but not on just dumb AI, but it's just bad technique and not having proper positioning. You know, that happens. And we also need to see weather actually matter. Where if you're playing in a blizzard and it's low visibility and it's windy, that's got to affect the game. Same way with rain. Rain has to have an effect. Maybe you got more fumbles. Maybe you have to run the ball more. It's wet and you may slip and fall. There's a lot of things that take place on hot sunny days where you have to sub players in and out because of heat exhaustion. And then there's player chemistry. There's a symmetry that goes with a quarterback being on the same page with his wide receivers. Those type of elements are what we need to see in football games. But, those are some of the things that me and the guys thought of. I'm also going to leave links to everybody's channel who gave input on this video, because there's a lot of good ideas out there and you need to check these guys out. But we want to hear from you guys too, because your voice matters. Everybody's voice matters in this community. Everybody should be involved. This is a great time. I want to hear what you guys have to say, man, because you guys have some great ideas too. What are some of the elements that you would like to see in a football game? Because at the end of the day, we all want a good product, and we don't want to look like this when we get our game. You get what I'm saying? You get it. Peace.